Hey everyone. So it's day 15 of the Solstice Fast, and the full moon is still there, still more or less full, and it's a moon day, meaning it's double moon. And I'm wearing these glasses, they're my other pair. Not a massive fan of them, to be honest. The yellow is a good idea, though. It tends to reduce the glare that you get from UV lights or LED lights, which there is a lot of in the world. Seems that they've just put LED in everywhere they possibly can. Seems to be affecting people in a lot of ways. The lights are very long lasting, they're very convenient, so very easy to sell. You don't need to replace them as often. So a lot of places that I go into where like the gym and a lot of commercial places will have LED lights. There's one in the kitchen that my mum has, so figured it's worth having a little bit of protection for the eyes. I went to my old workplace today to get a lift from a friend who lives in the same area as my mum. Makes it easier to go between London and Kent, so especially while I'm not working, it saves on fares. And it was quite nice. I had Christmas cards to give to everyone. Well, almost everyone. Everyone minus those that were involved in throwing my stuff in the skip. So there was a few people who got really nice cards and a few people who got other ones that weren't didn't have as much effort put in. Although it was mainly I just ran out of cards. There was 16 that I had that were decent cards with funny images on, and there's like 20 odd people in at the yard, so a few of them just had what I managed to find in a shop for 16 for 50p. So what I did though is I did a joke in everyone's card on the left side, and then done the rest of the card. I got my partner to write out the ones that were most special. The She started at the top of the list. I worked my way up from the bottom of the list, and we met in the middle. So the ones that had been the nicest to me over the past year got the most effort put into their cards. My partner did little diagrams for a lot of the words in the jokes, made them look really nice. Should have taken pictures of them all, really. I've got pictures of a couple that were sent to another friend of mine, but I shall post them at some point. But yeah, there's four of the guys there are Romanian, so I wrote their cards out in Romanian, which was a bit of a challenge. Had to use Google Translate for some of it, especially for the jokes, just to check that the jokes actually made sense. And some of them really didn't in English, but they were well received. I can't get used to seeing me with these on. That's a little bit better. Look like a weird rock star, one who's past his prime. Actually, don't look too bad considering. Just dry lips at the moment. Yeah, the fast has been going well. I've got a few things that I felt going on in my stomach today. Been getting a bit gassy, been burping, and the other end. So I think that that's a sign that something chemical reactions are going on in there. You can feel rumblings, but not the kind of rumblings of emptiness, like the rumblings of wind as something is being digested or broken down. So hopefully that means that something will be released soon that really has no business being there. And that would be the entire point of the fast, to try and remove these things that no longer serve you. A bit like the leaving my job, something that no longer served me. In fact, it showed that the people in charge had a very low opinion. That wasn't everyone. There was they were happy with me going in there to give the cards. So it's not like there was bad blood between me and the higher up managers, just the charge hand guy, who I didn't even acknowledge his existence today. Neither did I acknowledge the other people that were involved. But yeah, that shouldn't be my focus. It's just a bit sad the way that things gone. I think it needed to happen though, because it gave me the right kind of mindset that I'm willing to stand up for myself, stand up for what I believe in, and start pursuing a different path. And I don't know where this path is going to lead. Got a job center appointment tomorrow where they want to see evidence I've been looking for work. I've been applying for lots of jobs, like not particularly got my heart in it though. There's a couple that I'd be interested in if they came back. The working in a vegan kitchen, in an Indian vegan kitchen, learning how to make different types of curries. But then talking to my friend on the way up here as he was giving me a lift, he was pointing out that I have the opportunity here to put all of the time into this, what I'm doing. And I could always just learn how to cook from practice and YouTube videos, or working in a kitchen is likely to have you absorbing oil and everything into your skin and constantly smelling of the food that you're cooking. And I do remember people that were working in those environments that had this. I remember seeing people that worked at McDonald's always had spots because there was all the grease in the air. And it is true. It's not to say that I wouldn't still attempt the job and enjoy it for a little while, but I think that the future would be a lot better if I focused on what I'm doing now. There's a lot of opportunities in the world now that there never used to be, especially with the internet. There's a lot of things that are possible that I don't even know about yet. And what I do like is where I've been posting daily videos every day, I'm learning something. After a full year has passed, that's 365 lessons at least. And there's loads more that I could learn that could give me extra skills. And it doesn't take up all of my day. I've got some things to edit which will take up large chunks of the day. I have had videos that have taken more than 24 hours work just for the one video. And they're not the ones that get the views. The ones that get the views are always the ones that I make in 5 minutes. Something ridiculous. Um, Actually, that's not true. There's two. The Yom Kippur video did very well, and that had a lot of time and effort went into it. The I've been rumbled, where I was reading the Rumble terms and conditions. That one, that was a medium amount that went in, and that one was well received. But Yeah, for me, it's not really about the views. I feel I'm a bit reluctant to dive into this one head first because I don't like the idea of turning this into a profession. Because this is stuff that I like to come on and share for free. It's not something that I want to charge people for or run a business out of. But there are other opportunities. There's possibility of creating things that I can sell, things that would be quite interesting, things that would be like books that contain some of the diagrams, like the circle of modes that I started looking into when I was 16 that I've not really seen. You're not able to find that on the internet. You're not really able to find any information about it. There are people that have stumbled onto the same idea, but not in the same way. There's people that have done it with the notes, but not with the modes. So there's a lot of things that I could probably just do the diagrams for, do the write ups next to the diagrams to try and make as much sense of it as coherently as I can manage. And you can release these kind of books on Amazon. The downside to that is they would be expensive, and a lot of the money would be going to Amazon. So it's a bit. I'm not sure at the moment. I'm gonna keep looking and seeing what else is available, what other things I can create, what other things that I could provide as a service. Because I don't like the idea of just being paid to come on here and talk to people. I don't know, it doesn't feel like I'm doing enough. Feels like a bit of a lousy service, to be fair, especially when there's many people you can listen to for free. I like people being able to listen to me for free. I wouldn't want to listen to someone that charges you, especially when talking about these kind of things that are very close to the truth. Shouldn't be charging money for things you believe to be the truth. It's sort of got a weird feel to it. I don't even like the idea of doing some things I talk about on here and other things as part of a course because that's got that weird kind of vibe to it. Like oh yeah, yeah, this is the truth right here, but you want the real truth, that's going to cost you £20. Not really interested. But it's given me a lot to think about. And it's not like the guy can say that I haven't been looking for work when I go see him tomorrow. It's very well balanced the way that things are panning out. And I think having more time to be able to develop my skills in this department, I might be able to start seeing other things that are previously not been so obvious. So that I think this could be an effect of having Jupiter in retrograde right now in sorry, not Cancer, in Gemini. Gemini is the thinking sign. I think you have it. The Aries is the I am, the Taurus is the I have, the Gemini is the I think, and Jupiter is known as the philosopher. So when in retrograde, it's giving you a chance to rethink everything, rethink your philosophies. It's interesting with the sun being in Sagittarius and the moon, I think, is still in Gemini. It may have just moved out of Gemini. I know it's heading in between Mars and Earth at the minute, but I don't think that that's until tomorrow. I'm not sure if any of you remember the film Face Off with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. There was the two main characters in it. Sean Archer, was it Sean Archer? John Archer? Something Archer. think it could have been Sean Archer. That name sounds like it rings a bell. Then Castor Troy was Nicolas Cage's character, and they are resemblant of Sagittarius and Gemini. Sagittarius being the archer, Gemini, you have the twins, Pollux and Castor, Castor Troy, and he was a bit of a schizophrenic type, a bit of a psycho. Not that Geminis are psychos, but there is that schizophrenic vibe with the being a sign of duality. And that kind of feels like there's always the oppositions that are being placed in films that are there to highlight differences between characters, and it makes for good movies. The duality of this world seems to allow dualities to be good entertainment. And I think a lot of things in this world are duality. I think a lot of things in this world are Schrodinger's cat. You don't get the outcome until you open the box. Until that moment, anything is possible. None of us could ever possibly know the future, even when given really strong premonitions. You're still looking at it's in a state of quantum duality until there is the opening of the box, and then things are decided. And things may come true the way the prophecy is foretold. Then there's also that chance it could go the other way, because nothing in this world is that level of fixed. There are a lot of fixed things in this world, but I don't think they're permanent fixtures. There's a lot of pretty much any scientific study that I've looked into has said everything is temporary. Some things, they're here for many years in the same state, but they're not fully permanent. Like the Hermetic wisdom says that everything is vibrating, everything is moving at one speed or another. And there are scriptures and things that tell you you're capable of moving mountains when you get to a certain level of faith. And as I said yesterday in the video, like, I'm not really in this for that. I think the majority of the reason why I got into what I got into was for health reasons. Yeah, I find things interesting like the Kundalini experience, and I can't say that I wouldn't enjoy it, but it's not the be all and end all of existence. I find that once I get to a certain level of clear minded and clean in the body, there's other things that I feel I would just enjoy that are just relatively mundane things, things that before I would have been missing because I'd be in my own mind feeling the misery, feeling depressed about something from the past, beating myself up about things I should have done better, or stress and worry about the future, about what's going to be around the corner, how things are going to be paid, and it's a horrible trap to be in. At this present moment, I'm able to reside in the present, not worry about the future or the past. When I do get into mindsets where I start worrying about those things, it does feel like I pull myself away from this solace, this comfort. There is a certain level of bliss to just staying in the moment. I almost feel like it's going to be a shame when I start eating because I'm going to lose this feeling. And I really enjoy this feeling. Like, yeah, I see food and get a bit hungry from time to time, start to miss the different flavors and the different things that I can experience, but I can go back to experiencing them at any time. The senses will all be heightened. I'll enjoy it a lot more than I was enjoying it before. And I can keep the balance so that I don't dull my senses too much by overusing it. But I'm aware that once I start eating again, it's going to pull me slightly away from this mindset of being completely comfortable in the present moment without wanting for anything. And that is another weird feeling to have, like, it's almost like having no desires. You start to question yourself about where is my passion if I have no desire? Surely the two are linked. But I do still have the things that I enjoy doing, and I still got the passion to go into it every day. Every day thinking about video, every day thinking about other things that I can do. There's tons of ideas that I've got now built up for once the Solstice Fast runs its course, and I've got videos that I'll be able to still come out with on a daily. Ideas to do with vowels. Been watching Black Sheep Researcher do an interesting video about Babel. It's a video that I think is about 3 years old now, but he's the only person that I've seen talking about this. It's talking about a great reset, but the great vowel reset, when all of the vowels were switched. And it's a really interesting video. I'll put a link in the description. Something that I was considering making a video on, including some of the things that it made me think about while I was listening. Some of the things that Paul from the Black Sheep Researcher might not have seen as things that even he might find interesting. So that's a potential video in the future. I've got the Links and Dinks of the Fool to finish. Thinking with Links and Dinks of Aries, I'm just going to go ahead and make that, not worry about getting the approval back from the recording studio. I think that if they're this long about responding to an email, chances are they're going to be this long about spotting a use of a song that they have some kind of claim to ownership on in a YouTube video. It might be something that needs taking out at a later date if there's any big troubles come from it, but gotta live and learn. It's one way to find out. Yeah, got some other videos that I'd started jotting ideas down for. A 369 video, the Nikola Tesla. I think I've got more things coming in for that now. So I'm not too worried about content. We've got 78 cards worth of tarot cards from the Links and Dinks of the Tarot. It's going to keep me busy for a while. And if I can start working on books, start seeing if I can produce something that is interesting enough that I would want to read it and look at the pictures and meditate on them, zone into them. Does feel like a much better way forward than trying to seek another job somewhere, working for someone for minimum wage. Because minimum wage is never really going to do anything for you. If you're doing something for them, they always act like they're doing a thing for you by giving you the job in the first place. But we all know the setup's not fair for the workers. Things are better here in the UK than they are in some countries. I've heard in China they have you working 99 plus hours per week, and if you don't do it, someone else will take your position. So it's very cutthroat in that kind of environment. And it's quite lucky that we're not living in those extremes with that level of population to be concerned with. So I'm definitely not complaining. What I'm trying to do is now just look at opportunities. Like all of the innovators of the world, all of the businessmen, they didn't spend their lives working for another company, making another person rich or earning another person money. And that's not to say if you enjoy a job that you should leave just because you're making someone else rich. I mean, it'd be worth making sure that they appreciate you. If they don't appreciate you, then surely you can find other things and other places that would appreciate your skills and what you provide. I'm confident. I don't feel like I'm gonna struggle too much one way or another. I'll end up doing something that people will appreciate, or that I will at least appreciate. That I won't feel like my time is being spent giving my energy to the wrong people. Because that's all money is really. It's energy, it's currency. Current is energy, electric current. The current of a waterfall, or the speed that water travels, that's the energy, the movement of the water. A lot of things to do with water and electricity have same words as money. You got the banks, you get a power bank that stores the electricity, you get the bank on the side of the river banks, and the banks with your money. Got the ice comes into it, but I'm not sure where that would come into it in electricity. The Yeah, the ice isn't so much to do with the money. That's more to do with the police, the police. That's more to do with land. What else was the water? I think you have the flow, the energy flow, the cash flow, the water flow. There was streams. Maybe I should do a bit more gathering of the data and presentation before going into this one. But they do have a lot of similarities. I think there's always a clue in the name somewhere. And our language is very powerful. So powerful that there's the story of Babel, which is people building a ladder to heaven. When people were getting into heaven too easily. So to up the difficulty, they split the languages so that people were all speaking different languages. And it would make sense. People would be very confused, not be able to see these things. I think the ladder to heaven was the Bible or the scripture, not specifically the Bible, but just say there was one scripture that was helping people get to heaven. That's now been split into a few different languages. Each of them just has pieces of the puzzle now. If you're able to put all of these things together, then we've got our ladder to heaven. It's back. But would people really be able to go out and share these things with each other if we're always being kept at war with each other? A lot of people that I know can't stand religion. They think it's just a cause of war. They reject it, would rather be atheists than look at a set of scriptures to see if there's any morals in there or anything interesting worth noting. And I don't blame them. I can understand that. I've been that way myself through living and growing up in this world. I feel a bit blessed that I managed to see beyond that, because it's very easy to just think that everything happens through cosmic accidents and that things are not made through intelligent design. But once you start recognizing certain things and recognizing specific patterns, it's quite impossible to pass this place off as random happenstance. Things are incredibly intelligent here. And that goes for whether it's a simulation or a real creation by the Lord. It's still intelligent design. Even if it was just loads of stories created by farmers and people that looked up at the night sky, telling stories that reflect what was going on in the stars. And those stories then reflected what was going on down here in an as above, so below fashion. Still very intelligent design. And if we could all come together and share the things that are in these books and share the philosophies, I think that is how we become free. They don't want to share in things like that. They want us at war, obviously, and the type of sharing they want is like, they call it communism, but it's not communism. It's tyranny. They want, oh, you're going to share things, but you're going to give all those things to us and we're going to spread them out for you. And then obviously give more to those who obey them more, give less to those who have problems with any of the things that they do. I don't think that that's sharing. It's definitely not caring. It's just another form of control. But not to say that sharing is a bad thing. If it was proper communism, as in people living in a commune or helping each other out or doing things for each other, I think I could survive in that climate. 15 years experience building sheds, building things out of wood. I think that'd go a long way in helping people build from the ground up. Be quite happy doing it, as long as I've got food. Wouldn't really be after anything else. Quite comfortable living the simple life. I think that's something that I'm very thankful for these days. So yeah, gonna cut this one here. Appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for more.